Mrs. Phillips, if you would address council, please. Thank you.
Yes, Ann H. Phillips. Pardon me? Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. I'm speaking on behalf of the famous Brigantine Taxpayers Association, and I'm not going to address Mr. Bortner's remarks. We have been through this before, and as I said, I wonder what he'll do when he moves to Philadelphia.
Ms. Phillips, could you speak up a little bit, please?
Yeah, I'm trying to speak into this. Can't you hear me? Okay. First, while we appreciate the comments that were made by the two gentlemen who are here representing the golf course, we are somewhat disappointed in the presentation because it did not fulfill the purpose for which we requested such a presentation. It was brief, and there was no time allowed for public comment, questions and answers, and so on. I think that was the primary reason, to get the facts out and to have people ask and discuss it. That didn't happen. So since a concern of the Taxpayers Association regarding the golf course is to see that it remains a self-sustaining operation and utility, and isn't and doesn't become a burden to the taxpayers. And in that regard, we have some comments and questions, and making them, we are fully aware of the difficult economic conditions that exist concerning golf courses all over the country. So that is something we're fully aware of. Number one, according to the 2008 audit done by for the city, golf course revenues dropped over $300,000 from the 2000 year, while expenditures dropped $10,000. The 2008 operating deficit is, as was stated here, $37,289. That will be a deferred charge in the 2009 golf course budget. The end-of-year fund balance, which has been mentioned several times here tonight, has declined to $971,489, which is less than over $1 million in 2007. And with such a trend, the risk to taxpayers' monies increases, and that's our concern. And we do want it to be successful because that benefits everyone. But I think a full discussion of where we're going financially on this is in order and appropriate. Number two, the audit doesn't itemize the 2008 water and sewer payments to the city. Where were they and how were they determined? And it lists the payment in lieu of property taxes, as has been mentioned here also, but the amount, of course, is blank because this obligation was arbitrarily removed from the Meadowbrook contract by the city and thus assumed by the taxpayers. And by the way, I don't want to hear again, although we probably will, it's just like transferring money from one pocket to the other, which is quite untrue. One pocket is the utility, self-sustaining. All its expenditures are paid by user fees. The other pocket is the municipal budget, paid for with our property taxes, and this is the obligation of the taxpayers. There is a big difference between the two pockets, and they should not be confused, and I think it's misleading to do so. In the current five-year
We're taking on that Parliament feel. That's it. Go ahead, Ms.
In the current 5-year contract with Meadowbrook, there's a clause for a possible 3-year termination. In this case, that would occur November 2010. Now, Meadowbrook currently manages only 12 golf courses, which is far fewer than the number they managed when they first came here as the management. And it's a number which could be affecting its reduced cost purchasing power. In other words, they're not dealing from the same number of dealing for the same number of golf courses. I think that's something to consider when that 3-year period comes up, is to look into what other management people there are out there who might perhaps manage more and do a better job, more cost-effective job. Number 4, has the possibility of contracting out the food and beverage operation been investigated in terms of protecting the taxpayer as well as providing a cost-effective operation? These are things that we had hoped when we asked for this presentation would actually be, be discussed. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. We had a short presentation, a few facts and so on, but no in-depth, really, questions, because it is a concern.
Right.
And what is the current weekend discount policy, and what is its short-term and long-term effect? I've heard that there are changes now because to make up for lost revenue because of the economic conditions, you know, we have greater discounts and so on. So I think all these things should have been brought out. Also, tonight it was said that the mortgage will be paid off in approximately 8.5 years. Is that correct?
Chris, is that correct?
And what is the total?
More bond payments to make. Payments are made on the first of the year. So that means approximately 8.5 years.
What is the total indebtedness?
For the golf course?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chris, can you use the mic, please?
Pardon me?
I asked Chris to use the mic.
Oh, yeah.
$3,030,000.
Pardon me?
$3,030,000.
Okay, that's what we owe.
Correct.
And there is also, I believe, a $500,000 authorized bond that has not been utilized. It's authorized but hasn't been completed. Is that correct?
Correct. It's been authorized, but we haven't borrowed anything to fund it. We've been funding it out of surplus.
Do you? Okay, so you have no intention of putting that into effect. Is that correct?
No, I didn't say that. If need be, we may have to borrow to fund it. But as of right now, we're funding it fully with our own cash balance.
Okay, well, that fund balance, evidently people are relying that to make up all the perhaps deficits and so on. But as it declines over the years, the ability to use it to put in the budget is going to diminish. So at any rate, the point was to have a real thorough discussion of the golf course and the problems, and I guess there are some. I know we heard some tonight concerning the liquor license and so on. I think that's important for people to know. And so the next time if you do this again, I think it should be done more thoroughly, and we'd like to keep us up to date on the golf course, and transparency is the key to public confidence, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
And ladies, thank you.
We'll pass your remarks on to Meadowbrook. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Hi, Pete Carfagno, 229.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I can't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Pete Carfagno,